ॐ श्रीकृष्ण शरणं मम गोपिका जीवनस्मरणं गोविन्दा गोविन्द सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। शुक्लां भरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। नमो नमः सद्गुरुभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो नमः सद्गुरुभ्यो नमो नमः। सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रय विनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नुमः। यं प्रव्रजन्तमनुपेतमपेतकृत्यं द्वैपायनो विरह कातर आजुहाव पुत्रेति तन्मयतया तरवोऽभिनेदुः तं सर्वभूतहृदयं मुनिमानतोऽस्मि। यस्वानुभावमखिल श्रुतिसारमेकम् अध्यात्मदीपम् अतिथितीर्षतां तमोन्धं संसारिणां करुणयाः पुराणगुह्यं तं व्याससूनुमुपयामि गुरुं मुनीनां। योगीन्द्राय नमस्तस्मै शुकाय ब्रह्मरूपिणे संसारसर्पदष्टं यो विष्णुरातममुमुचते कालव्यालमुखग्रास त्रासनिर्नाशहेतवे श्रीमद्भागवतं शास्त्रं कलौकीरेण भाषितम् एतस्मादपरं किञ्चित् मनःशुद्ध्यै न विद्यते जन्मान्तरे भवेत् पुण्यं तदा भागवतं लभेत् ज्ञानवैराग्यसम्पूर्णान् हरिभक्तिपरायणान् पूर्वाचार्यातहं वन्दे सम्प्रदायप्रवर्तकान् भगवन्नाम साम्राज्य लक्ष्मी सर्वस्वविग्रहं श्रीमद्बोधेन्द्र योगीन्द्र देशिकेन्द्रम् उपास्महे। कलिकालोचितं धर्मं नाम संकीर्तनात्मकं निर्णेतुम् अवतीर्णं तं प्रेमिकं सद्गुरुं भजे। हरे रामेति कृष्णेति नाम संकीर्तनं सदा लोकक्षेमाय कुर्वन्तं प्रेमिकं सद्गुरुं भजे। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयात् इतरतश्चार्तेष्वभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि धर्मः प्रोज्झितकैतवोऽत्र परमो निर्मत्सराणां सतां वेद्यं वास्तवमत्र वस्तु शिवदं तापत्रयोन्मूलनम् श्रीमद्भागवते महामुनिकृते किं वा परैरीश्वरः सद्यो हृद्यवरुध्यतेऽत्र कृतिभिः शुश्रूषिभिस्तत्क्षणात् निगमकल्पतरोर्गलितं फलं शुकमुखात् अमृतद्रवसंयुतं पिबत भागवतं रसमालयं मुहुरहो रसिका भुवि भावुकाः नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् श्रीमद्भागवताख्योऽयं प्रत्यक्षः कृष्ण एव हि स्वीकृतोऽसि मया नाथ मुख्यर्थं भवसागरे मनोरथो मदीयोऽयं सफलः सर्वदा त्वया निर्विघ्नेनैव कर्तव्यो दासोऽहं तव केशव। श्रीहरये नमः। श्रीहरये नमः। श्रीहरये नमः। गोपिका जीवनस्मरणं गोविन्दा गोविन्द सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, so we'll do a quick review of 16. And Narayani, can you do one half, the first half, and then Ramesh, can you do the second half?
Yeah, okay.
I think 37, Narayani can do like 19, 18, 19 plus 18 or something.
ஓகே ஃபோர்த்ல இருந்தே படிக்கலாமா ஃபர்ஸ்ட்ல இருந்து அந்த இதுல இருந்து ஆரம்பிக்கலாமா 16
You can start from the first itself, yeah.
ஓகே अथ षोडशोऽध्यायः ब्रह्मोवाच इति तद्गृणतां तेषां मुनीनां योगधर्मिणां प्रतिनन्द्य जगाद्वेदं विकुण्ठनिलयो विभुः श्रीभगवानुवाच ये तौ तौ पार्षदौ मह्यं जयो विजय एव च कदर्तीकृत्य मां यद्वो बह्वक्राताम् अतिक्रमं यस्त्वे तयोर्धृतो दण्डो भवद्भिर्माम् अनुव्रतैः स एवानुमतोऽस्माभिः मुनयो देवहेलनात् तद्वप्रसादयां यद्य ब्रह्म दैवं परं हि मे तद्धीत्यात्मकृतं मन्ये यत्स्वपुंभिरसत्कृताः यन्नामानि च गृह्णाति लोको भृत्ये कृतागसि सोऽसाधुवातस्तत्कीर्तिम् अन्तित्वचम् इवामयः यस्यामृतामलयशश्रवणावगाहः सद्यः पुनाति जगताश्वपचाद्विकुण्ठः सोऽहं भवद्भ्य उपलब्धसुतीर्थकीर्तिः छिन्द्यां स्वबाहुमभिवः प्रतिकूलवृत्तिम् यत्सेवया चरणपद्मपवित्ररेणुं सद्यः क्षक्ता किल मलं प्रतिलब्धशीलं न श्रीर्विरक्तमपि मां विजहाति यस्याः प्रेक्षालवार्तयितरे नियमान् वहन्ति नाहं तथाद्मि यजमानहविर्विताने च्योतत्कृतप्लुतमदन् हुतभुङ्मुखेन यद्ब्राह्मणस्य मुखतश्चरतोऽनुगासं तुष्टस्य मय्यवहितैर्निजकर्म पाकैः येषां बिभ्रम्यहम् अखण्डविकुण्डयोगमाया विभूतिरमलाङ्क्रि रजः किरीटैः विप्रांस्तु को न विषहेत यदर्हणाम्बः सद्यः पुनाति सह चन्द्र ललामलोकान्
Narani, the
ये मे
first line mattum, the second word, bibhar, and the ir is coming after the second bha. Bibharmyaham.
the first line la esham bibaryamyaham. Okay.
Bibharmyaham.
Bibaryaham.
Yeah, correct.
Okay. ये मे तनूर्द्विजवरान् दुहतीर्मदीयाः भूतान्यलब्ध शरणानि च वेद बुद्ध्या द्रक्ष्यन्त्य गक्षत दृशो यहि मन्यवस्तान् गृध्रारुषा मम कुशन्त्यदि दण्डनेतुः ये ब्राह्मणान् मयि दीया क्षिपतोर्चयन्तः तुष्यन् धृतस्मितसु दोक्षितपद्मवक्त्राः वाण्यानुरागकलयात्मजवद् गृणन्तः सम्बोधयन्त्यहम् इवाहम् उपाहृतस्तैः दन्मे स्वभर्तुरवसायमलक्ष्यमाणौ युष्मद्व्यधिक्रमगतिं प्रतिपद्य सद्यः भूयो ममान्ति कमितां तदनुग्रहो मे यत्कल्पताम् अचिरतो भृतयोर्विवासः ब्रह्मोवाच अतत्तस्योषतीं देवीं ऋषिकुल्यां सरस्वतीं नास्वाद्यमन्युदष्टानां तेषाम् आत्माभ्यदृप्यत सतीं व्याधाय शृण्वन्तो लघ्वीं कुर्वर्तः गह्वरां विगाह्यागादगम्भीरां न विदुस्तच्चिकीर्षितम् ते योगमाययारब्ध पारमेष्ट्यम् अहोदयम् प्रोचुः प्राञ्जलयो विप्राः प्रहृष्टाः शुभीतत्वचः.
And the first line, a small correction, the parameshtiyam varadu. It's parameshtya mahodayam. I heard you break
why
that.
did I split? I don't know. Okay.
Yeah, I heard you split that. So it's
நான் split பண்ணி எழுதிட்டு இருக்கேன். Sorry.
Yeah, parameshtya mahodayam.
पारमेष्टि महोदयं करेक्ट् பண்ணிட்டேன். ऋषयो वाचुः न वयं भगवन् विद्मः तव देव चिकीर्षितं कृतो मेऽनुग्रहश्चेति यदत्यक्षः प्रभाषसे ब्रह्मण्यस्य परं दैवं ब्राह्मणाः किल ते प्रभो विप्राणां देवदेवानां भगवान् आत्मदैवतम् त्वत्तः सनातनो धर्मो रक्ष्यते धनुभिस्तव धर्मस्य परमो गुह्यो निर्विकारो भवान् मतः. இன்னும் எவ்வளவு படிக்கணும்?
Just one more. Yeah, do one more and stop.
Okay. तरन्ति ह्यञ्जसा मृत्युं निवृता यदनुग्रहात् योगिनस् भवान् किं विद् अनुगृह्येत यत्परैः.
Second line, yoginassa bhavan. The sa, I didn't
ओ
hear.
योगिनस्स भवान् किं विद् अनुगृह्येत यत्परैः. Thank you.
यं वै विभूतिर्भयात्नुवेलमन्यैः अर्धार्थिभिः स्ववशिरसा धृतपातरेणुः धन्यार्भिदङ्करि तुलसी नवदामनो लोकं मधुव्रतपतेरिव कामयानाम् यस्तां विविक्तचरित्रै अनुवर्धामनां नाद्याद्रियत् परम भगवत प्रसङ्गः
Bhagavata prasangah.
यद्ध्यात्रित्य परम भागवत प्रसङ्गः सत्वं ध्वजनुपद पुण्यरज पुनीतः श्रीवत्सलक्ष्म किमका भगवाजनस्त्वम् धर्मस्य ते भगवतस्त्रियुगद्रिभिस्वहि पद्भीषराचरमित द्विजदेवधार्तम् नूनं मृदं तदाभिगादिरजस्तमश्च सद्वेन नो व्रतयातनुवानिरस्य.
The last line, Varadaya. Last line.
वरदयातमनुवनिरस्य न त्वं त्विजेतमकुलं यदिहात्मकोपं गोप्ता वृषस्वर्हनेन शृणुतेन दर्ह्येव नाक्ष्यन्ति शिवस्तवतेव बन्ता लोकोग्रहीष्यत् ऋषभपस्हिति तत्प्रमाणम्.
Rishabhasya hitat pramanam.
ऋषियत् ऋषभस्य हि तत्प्रमाणम् तद्देन भीष्टमिव सत्तव नितोर्विदित्वसोः क्षेमं जनाय निजशक्तिभृद्धृतधारे नैतावता ध्रियति पतोर्त विश्वभर्धु तेजक्षतं त्वनतस्य सतेन वितेनः.
So, a couple of corrections, Ramesh. And the first line, nidhe, you said nido, sattva nidhe.
Niter vididiso.
And then third line, triadi pater, you said pato, same pater.
Trivi pater pata vishvabardhu.
And the last one, the bhartus tejaha kshatam, and the visarga.
And the visargam solno. Okay.
Tejaha kshatam.
Tejaha kshatam tvanatasya sate vinotah yem vanayor damamadi sababavan vidatte vrittim nuvatatanumat mahi nirvayalikam asmasu vaya उचितोद्रियतां सददण्डो येनाकशौ मयुङ्क्षुक्महि किल्पिषेण.
And the word, want to just break it as vayam ayungshmahi.
Vayam ayungshna. Okay, na split pen.
Ayungshmahi. Yeah.
Ayungshmahi. Okay. Yeah. Mayum ayungshmahi kilpishena Sri Bhagavanuvacha Yedo Sure Taragatim Pradipatya Satyah Sambramba Samprita Samatyanupatya Yoko Bhuyat Sakasa Mupayas Yata Ashu Yevaha Sapo Mayeva Nimitas Tadavaita Vipraha.
Third line, yovaha. Ashu yovaha. You said ye, yovaha.
Yovaha, okay, yes. Ashu yovaha brahmovacha adate munayo trishtva nayanananda bhajanam vaikundam vaikunda dadati shtamnam vaikundam dadati dishtanam विकुण्डं च स्वयं प्रभं भगवन्तं परिक्रम्य प्रणिपत्यानुमन्य च प्रदिजग्मुक् प्रमुदितासं सन्तो
Pramuditaha.
प्रमुदिताः அப்புறம் split is அப்புறம் வருமா?
Pramuditaha, comma, Shamsanto
Okay, I
Vaishnavim
think I
Shriyam.
got it in the wrong place. Okay, okay. I think the split was in the wrong place. Okay, pramuditaha samsanto Vaishnavim Shriyam Bhagavanugavakaha yada ma bhaishtamastu sam brahmateja samarthobi hantum nocha madam tume.
So, the first line, like Yatam, okay, after the comma. Yatam, you said Yatam.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And then the fourth line, Neche, Matam. Hantum, Neche,
Noche
Matam.
sonena, I think okay. Neche, okay, sir. Edat puraiva nirdishtam ramaya kridadayayata purapavaritadvari vishanti mayuparate मयि संरम्भयोकेन निस्तीर्य ब्रह्महेलनम् प्रत्येष्यतां निकाशं मे कालेनाल्पीयसा पुनः त्वास्तितावादिस्य भगवान् विमानश्रेणिभूषणम् सर्वादिशयया लक्ष्मया जुष्टं स्वं दीष्णयमाविशत् दौदूकीर्वाणऋषभौ दुस्तराद्धरिलोत्कदः हतश्रियो ब्रह्मसापात् आभूतां विगतस्मयौ तदा विकुण्डदिशनात् दयोर्निपतामनयोः
Manayoho, Nipatamanayoho.
तयोर्निपतमानयोः हाहाकारे महानासीत् विमानाकृत्येष पुत्रकाः
And the
तवेव
again, sorry, Ramesh, and the A-O confusion are then the ha-ha-karo. You said kare, karo. First word, second line.
Oh, karo sonana.
Kare chonne, it is karo.
Karo, okay. I have that. I'll fix. Okay. Okay, now fix panikan Rajesh. Okay. Taveva hentuna pradhau parshat bravarau harehe tidur jadar nirvishtam kashyabam teja vulbhanam tayorasasura yodhraya tejasayamayor hivaha आक्षिप्तं तेजयेदर्हि भगवांस्तद्विदितत्सति विश्वस्य स्थितितिलयोत् भवहेतुरातयो योगेश्वरैरभिदुरध्यययोगमायः क्षेमं विदास् यदि सनो भगवांस्त्रियतीशः तत्रास्मदीय विमृशेन कियानिहार्तः okay इति श्रीमद् भागवते महापुराणे पारमहंस्यां संहितायां तृतीयस्कन्धे षोडशोऽध्यायः.
And the 35 la you said ditor instead of diter. I think and the A-O, I think somehow you are switching it. Diter you said ditor, and karok bal you said kare. I think somehow that switch is happening, right? Where the A and O is. So I'll path anyway. Okay. I think that is a consistent. You know.
Okay.
Rajeshji, in slogam 24, that second part after the Vishwabhartu, is it a plus sign or is it a Visarga?
So it will be like Naitavata Tradipatir Bata Vishwabhartus Tejaha. So it's like a plus and a visarga there. So Bhartus, after the Bhartus is a plus. Okay. So
Okay.
Bhartus Tejaha Kshatam Tva Vanatasya Sati Vinodaha.
Okay. Thank you, Rajesh.
Okay, so let's start with 17. So I'll kind of 17 is a small chapter, there's so this what do you call the whole Hiranya, the Varaha Avataram, including getting rid of Hiranyaksha, is going to starting from 3.13, it goes all the way to 3.19. So in that, so 3.13 to 19 is like 7 chapters, right? So in the 7 chapters consists of the Sanat Kumaras going to Vaikuntham, and then the birth of Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu, which we're going to see in this chapter, and then the battle that is going to happen between Varaha and Hiranyaksha, and Hiranyaksha getting over. So that is covered across 7 chapters in this with all these stanzas, right? That's essentially it's going to continue for a long 3 more chapters of Varaha Avataram going on. So everything related to Hiranyaksha is part of Varaha Avataram. Anyway, so in the 17th, so in the last chapter, we kind of saw the conversation that was happening between, Narayana and Jaya Vijaya, and also, the Sanat Kumaras, right? And then they were then cursed to say, you're going to then fall down into lower consciousness. And then eventually Bhagavan said, through Samramba Yogena, you will be able to get back to me, get back to Vaikuntham. That's kind of how we left the previous chapter. So Brahma kind of wrapped it up by saying to the Devas, don't worry, it's all planned, it is going to be fine, and Bhagavan is going to come and help. That's kind of how we left it. So this one starts off, Maitreya is continuing the story to Vidura here, saying that with this, the Devas now are going back to the respective places, because they initially approached Brahma because everything was very dark, right? Everything was appearing dark when Diti got pregnant. So that's how they had approached Brahma. So now they all kind of go back. So now we come back in the story to Diti and Kashyapa, which we left a few chapters back, right? Where they got pregnant, Diti got pregnant. So to them, 2 children are born who are born as twins. So she goes through a very long pregnancy. It says 100 years. Now, the 100 years, I don't know if in the higher realms, the pregnancy is 100 years, or I don't know if it is 100 human years, which is 1 year of Devalokam. I don't know that what it says, but it just says 100 years, right? So I don't know specifically what they're referring to there. So anyway, so to them are born twins. And this Bhattadipad also says very nicely, he says, Yamaucha lokasya yama vivanyo. He says like the two, Yamau means twins. So the twins are born who become like the Yama for the entire world. So, that's so, but there's 2 different meanings there. The Yama and Yamau are 2 different meanings. Anyway, here it says the twins are born. So just even when Diti was pregnant, the entire thing was in darkness. So now that these children are born, it just what all these, like when Krishna was born in Dashakam 38, Bhattri how everything became very cool. It was raining, and then the rainwater comes and cools everything, and people started feeling more auspicious because Krishna was going to be born. So when Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu are born, it's the exact opposite. So this chapter, majority of it talks very extensively about all the natural disasters which are happening across all of the worlds. It talks about how the volcanoes which are there everywhere is erupting, the water levels in various worlds are beginning to go up, the planetary positions of Saturn and Mars, all of that is beginning to, come in very inauspicious positions. So everywhere it is like written saying that doom is going to happen, right? It's kind of all of that it talks about extensively, right? But net is what is happening is that everything is indicating that things are going to be bad, right? So when this happens, of course, this is happening after some time. So Brahma knows, okay, this is Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu are going to be born. The Sanat Kumaras know in detail. The Devas know to some extent because Brahma said Jaya Vijaya are going to be born. So they also have a little bit, but they're also afraid because all these evil, bad omens are happening. So everybody is beginning to panic, saying what is going to happen. So that is pretty much like the half of the chapter. First 15 stanzas talk about all the different signs which are happening, which is all pointing to something evil happening. So then from 16th, it starts a description of Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, talks about, how even when they were born and, when they grow up, etc., they were massive in size. It doesn't look like, they are even like normal beings. They had extraordinary power and they were very huge in size, extremely strong. And then, so Kashyapa then names them. So the first one to come out of the womb is Hiranyaksha. The first one to be conceived is Hiranyakashipu. So the one who is first conceived is considered the elder person. But Hiranyaksha comes out first. The second one who comes out, who is first conceived, is Hiranyakashipu. So Hiranyakashipu is the older brother of Hiranyaksha. So these two, of course, like what they were destined for is Hiranyakashipu has already gotten a boon from Brahma at some point where he's unconquerable. The big boon he gets, where I'm not going to be killed by man, fear, animal, all of that, is going to happen after Hiranyaksha's death. But even before that itself, both these brothers have gotten boons. So Hiranyakashipu was anyway powerful, and he didn't care about anything. So it talks about under the older brother's supervision, Hiranyaksha was going around creating havoc everywhere because he knew Hiranyakashipu was there to protect. So he then goes around all around the worlds, driving everybody. So like the top Swargaloka, Indra, Agni, all of them run away from there because they don't want to be caught with Hiranyaksha. So he's pretty much taken over all of the 14 worlds, all of the universes. Hiranyaksha is ruling under the support of Hiranyakashipu. So now, when Hiranyaksha, now he doesn't have anybody to battle with because the Devas have already gone. So Hiranyaksha has control over the Swarga Lokam and all of that lokas. So what he does is he goes down to the lower worlds. So anyway, the lower worlds are occupied. Well, the lower worlds are just lower in consciousness. Doesn't mean it is like hell or anything. They are also advanced beings which are there, just lower in consciousness, right? So they are also equally powerful, but just they do not have. If you think of it as you go up, you're getting closer to Bhagavan. Think of it that way. So the more lower you are going, you are evil in terms of going away from Bhagavan, but you could be equally strong, right? So Hiranyaksha is then going over and searching for an appropriate person to fight with. Finally, he comes to this place called Vibhavari. So this Vibhavari is the land where Varuna is. So Varuna has control over all the lower worlds also. So we normally say Varuna is water or aquatics, right? But he's also literally, that's because he's considered, he takes care of everything below. But in reality, the lower worlds like Atala, Sutala, Patala also, Varuna has control over it. So his Vibhavari is somewhere in that realm, in the Patala Loka is where Varuna is. The Indra and all sit in the Swarga Loka, which is further above. So Varuna just takes care of all of that. So this Hiranyaksha goes to Varuna. And then, he knows he can get rid of Varuna, but he tries to, play with Varuna by falling on his feet and saying, Varuna, you are very strong. You are ruling over all of these regions and everything. And he says, you have to come and give me a battle. You have to come and fight with me. That's what Hiranyaksha says. So Varuna, and Varuna knows there's no use trying to battle with this guy. So he says, you know what? And Hiranyaksha gives some bad words and all that to Varuna, challenging him. So Varuna says, I'm not going to fight with you. I'm not the appropriate person. The person who's appropriate to fight with you is that Narayana himself. So he says, you go seeking after that Narayana, right? You go look for him, you go search for him. And eventually, when you meet that Narayana, he'll be the right opponent for you. And then Varuna says he will be able to get rid of you also because you have to trigger this guy a little bit more, right? So he says, when you go meet with Narayana, he's more powerful than you. He'll be able to get rid of you. So no, don't waste your time trying to fight with me. And then he sends Hiranyaksha to look for Narayana. So that's where this thing comes to an end, where Hiranyaksha is going around now looking for Narayana, and he doesn't find Narayana, right? Because he doesn't have a guru to guide him towards Narayana. So that guru is only going to come in the next chapter. So right now he's going and looking for it. So with that, 17 comes to an end. All right. So today, let's see. Is Madhu on today? I don't know. I didn't see Madhu. Okay.
We are back today, Rajesh.
Okay. Thanks, Jim. I see you. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Anandji, you can be a student, and Satya, you can be a student.
Sure.
Maitreyo Vacha Nishamyatma Bhuva Geetam, Karanam Shankayojhitaha Tata Sarve Nyavartanta, Tridivaya Divaukasaha. Maitreyo Vacha Nishamyatma Bhuva Geetam Karanam Shankayojhitaha Tata Sarve Nyavartanta Tridivaya Divaukasaha.
Maitreya Uvacha Nishamyatma Gītam Karanam Shankayojhitaha Tadas Sarvena Vartanda Ridivaaya Divokasaha.
Just one time only. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead. Yes. Satya, go ahead.
मैत्रेय उवाच निशम्यात्मभुवा गीतं कारणं शङ्कयोजिताः ततः सर्वे न्यवर्तन्त त्रिदिवाय दिवौकसः
Ditistu Bhartur Adeshat. So the that is there, we're just breaking it into it and a. Bhartur Adeshat, comma. Next word starts with a. Apatya Parishankini. Purne Varsha Shate Sadhvi, comma. Putrau Prasushube Yamau. Even the Bhagavatam is saying Yamau. So twins. Ditistu Bharturadeshat Apatya Parishankini Purne Varsha Shate Sadhvi Putrau Prasushube Yamau.
Didistu Bhartura Deshad Avatya Parishangini Purne Varshashade Swadhi Putro Prasushuve Yamo.
The second line, Anandji, before the comma, Sadhvi.
Swadvi.
No, Sadhvi.
Sadvi.
Yeah. Okay.
दितिस्तु भर्तुर् आदेशाद् अपत्य परिशङ्किनी पूर्णे वर्षशते साध्वी पुत्रौ प्रसुषुवे यमौ
Utpata Bhavastatra, comma, Nipetur Jayamanayoho Divi Bhuvyantarikshe cha. It's one word. Bhuvyantarikshe cha, comma, Lokasyoru Bhayavahaha. Utpata Bhavastatra Nipetur Jayamanayoho Divi Bhuvyantarikshe cha Lokasyoru Bhayavahaha.
Utpada Bhagavastatra Nipeturjayamanayoho Divi Bhuvyandarishe cha Logasyorubhayavaha.
उत्पाता बहवस्तत्र निपेतुर्जायमानयोः दिवि भुव्यन्तरिक्षे च लोकस्योर्भयावहाः
Sahachala Bhuvascheluhu Visarga, comma. Next, on top of the Disha, there is a ir that will go away. Dishas Sarvaf Prajajvaluhu Solkash Chashanayaf Petuhu, comma. Ketavash Charti Hetavaha. Sahachala Bhuvascheluhu Dishas Sarvaf Prajajvaluhu Solkash Chashanayaf Petuhu. Petuhu Visarga is there. Ketavash Charti Hetavaha.
Sahachala Bhuvascheluhu Dishas Sarva Prajajjaluhu Solkas Chashanaya Peduhu Kedavascharti Hedavaha.
सहाचलाबुवश्चेलुः दिशः सर्वाः प्रज्वलुः सोल्काश्चाशनयः पेतुः केतवश्चार्तिहेतवः
Vavau Vayus Sudusparshaha, comma. Putkaranirayan, one word. Putkaranirayan Muhuhu Unmulayan Nagapatin, comma. Vatyaniko Rajo Dhvajaha. Just talks about, like I said, all the calamities and everything. This is talking about the wind blowing everywhere, blowing dust storms and all everywhere. Vavau Vayus Sudusparshaha Phutkara Muhuhu Unmulayan Nagapatin Vatyaniko Rajodhvajaha.
Pavo Vayu Sudusparsha Futkara Nirayan Muhuhu Unmulayan Nagapadin Vatyaniko Rajodajaha.
ववौ वायुस्सुदुस्पर्शः पूत्कारानीरयन्मुहुः उन्मूलयन्नगपतीन् वात्यानीको रजोध्वजः
Uddhasat Tadid Ambhoda. I'm just breaking the into it and a. Tadid Ambhoda. Then put a plus. Ghataya Nashta Bhagane Vyomni Pravishta Tamasa, comma. Na Sma Vyadrishyate Padam. Uddhasat Tadid Ambhoda Ghataya Nashta Bhagane Vyomni Pravishta Tamasa Nasma Vyadrishyate Padam.
दम्बोद खडया नष्टभागणे व्योम्नि प्रविष्टतमसा न स्मव्यादृश्यते पदम्.
That first word, uddhasat, double dha, uddhasat.
उद्धसत् तडिदं बोध.
Yeah, correct.
उद्धत तडिदं बोध.
Do we break there, Rajeshji, like Tadid Amboda or Tadidam?
You can say tadidamboda together if you want.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
I just broke it because it will be sometimes easier to break. Yeah, but uddhasat tadidamboda.
उद्धसत्तडिदम्बोधघटया sorry उद्धसत्तडिदम्बोधघटया नष्टभागेन ಅದು no pause there.
இல்ல அது வந்து when you're saying the bodha ambodha, that is the halfway point, just drop it a little bit down. Ambodha ghataya, then it will land nashtabhagane.
उद्धसत्तडिदम्बोध घटया नष्टभागने व्योम्नि प्रविष्टतमसा न स्मव्यादृश्यते पदम्.
Chukrosha vimana vardihi, which is going to break that visarga comma vardihi. The ru, the next word will become a u. Udurmihi, you have to say that visarga. Udurmihi kshubitodaraha. Sodapanascha saritaha. That ish goes away, visarga comma saritaha. Chukshubush shushka pankajaha. Chukrosha vimana vardihi. Udurmihi kshubitodaraha. Sodapanascha saritaha. Chukshubush shushka pankajaha.
शुक्रोश विमाना वर्दिः उधूर्मीः शुभिदोदरः सोदपानाश्च सरिदः चुक्षुभुक्शुष्कपङ्कजाः.
शुक्रोशविमना वार्धिः ऊर्ध्वमिः क्षुभितोदरः सोदपानाश्च सरितः चुक्षुभुः
First line after the comma, udurmihi. This is something different. Udurmihi in the word.
Okay, Chukrosha vimana vardihi. Oh, urdumhi sarene. Udurmihi shubitodaraha.
Muhuf. Yeah, correct. Yeah, correct only. Yeah. Muhuf paridhayo bhuvan, comma, sarahvosh shashi suryayoho nirghata rata nirhradaha. We're going to add a visarga because we're going to put a comma there. Nirhradaha, comma, vivarebhyah prajagnire. Muhuh paridhayo bhuvan sarahvo shashisuryayoho nirghata rata nirhradaha vivarebhyah prajagnire.
मुहुः परिधयो भुवन् सराहो शशिसूर्ययोः निर्घादारदनर्ह्रादाः विवरेभ्यः प्रजज्ञिरे.
मुहुः परिधयो भुवन् सरोह्वोः शशिसूर्ययोः शशिसूर्ययोः निर्घाता रतनिह्रादाः विवरेभ्यः प्रजज्ञिरे.
And the first one, the sarahvo, I think it's something slightly different. And the sarro, I think it's sarahvosh. Okay, on the word.
Sarahvosh.
Yeah. Antar grameshu mukhatho, comma, vamantyo vannim ulbhanam. I'm just breaking at that ma. Vannim ulbhanam. Srigaloluka tankaraihi, comma, pranedur ashivam shivaha. I'm breaking at the ra if you want. Pranedur ashivam shivaha. Antargrameshu mukhatho vamantyo vannimulbanam srigalolukatankaraihi pranedur ashivam shivaha.
Antargrameshu mukhatho vamantyo vannimulbanam srigalolukatankareihi pranedur ashivam shivaha.
Srigaloluka tankaraihi, right?
Correct.
Okay. Antargrameshu mukato वमन्त्यो वह्निम् उल्बनं सृगालोलुकटङ्कारैः प्रणेदुरशिवं शिवाः
Sangita Badrodhanavad. Okay, that whole line is going to come together, but the vad is the midpoint. Badrodhanavad, comma, plus Unnamaya Shirodharam Vyamunchan Vividha Vacho, comma, Grama Simhas Tatas Tataha. Sangeeta Vadrodhanavad Unnamaya Shirodharam Vyamunchan Vividha Vacho Grama Simhas Tatas Tataha.
സംഗീതവദ്രോതനവത് ഉന്നമയ്യ ശിരോധരാം വിമുഞ്ചൻ വിവിധാവാചോ ഗ്രാമസിംഹാസ്തതസ്തതഃ.
सङ्गीतवद्रोदनवद् उन्नमय्य शिरोदरां व्यमुञ्चन् विविधा वाचो ग्रामसिंहास्ततस्ततः
Harascha Karkashaihi. That visarga has to be said. Karkashaihi Kshattaha, comma. Khurair Gnanto is a half gha there. Gnanto Dharatalam. Kharkara Rabasa, one word. Kharkara Rabasa Mattaha, comma. Paryadhavan Varuthashaha. Kharascha Karkashaihi Kshattaha. Khurair Gnanto Dharatalam. Kharkara Rabasa Mattaha. Paryadhavan Varuthashaha.
खराश्च कर्कशैः शत्तः घुरिर्घ्नन्दोदरातलम् घार्काररभसा मत्ताः पर्यदावन्वरुदशः.
That visarga Anandji, the first time. Karkashaihi Kshattaha.
कर्कशैः खराश्च कर्कशैः शत्तः.
Yeah.
कराश्च कर्कशैः क्षक्तः कुरैर्नन्तो दरातलं कार्कार रभसा मत्ताः पर्यदावन्वरुतशः.
Rajeshri, one
Rudan.
doubt.
Yeah.
Rajeshri, one doubt.
Yeah.
Kharancha or Kharashcha?
Harascha. Ish and the cha.
Okay. I have
Okay,
a
there's no-
cha. In cha. Yeah.
I don't have an
I have
in.
I have a nya and a cha. Kharancha.
Okay, I have a ish only. Harascha. Satya, what your book is Harascha, right?
In Sanskrit, it is
Then I see
Karashcha only.
Yes,
Karashchali, no in.
Okay.
Okay. I'll correct it. Yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Rudanto Rasabha Trastaha. Because you are putting a comma, add a visarga there. Trastaha. Needad Udapatan Khagaha. Ghoshe Ranyecha Pashabaha, comma. Shakrin Mutram Akurvata. I'm just breaking at that. Mutram Akurvata. Rudanto Rasabhatrastaha. Needad Udapatan Khagaha. Ghoshe Ranyecha Pashabaha. Shakrin Mutram Akurvata.
रुदन्तोरासभस्ताः नीडात् उदपदङ्गगाः घोषेरण्ये च पशवः शक्रन्मूत्रमकुर्वत.
रुदन्तो रासभत्रस्ताः नीडा उदपतन् कघाः घोषेरन्ये च पशवः शक्रुन्मूत्रम् अकुर्वत.
Gavotra Sanna Srig Dohaha. That is goes away. Visarga comma Dohaha. Toyadaf Puya Varshinaha. Vyarudan Deva Lingani, comma Drumaf Petur Vinanilam. Gavotra Sanna Srig Dohaha. Toyadaf Puya Varshinaha. Vyarudan Deva Lingani. Drumaf Petur Vinanilam.
गावोऽत्र सन्नसृङ्दोहाः तोयादापूयवर्षिणः विरुधन् देवलिङ्गानि ध्रुमापेदुर्विनानिलम्.
गावोऽत्र सन्नसृग्दोहाः तोयदाः पूयवर्षिणः व्यरुदन् देवलिङ्गानि लिङ्गानि Druma, illi lingani
Lingani, comma there.
Vyarudandeva lingani Druma petur vinanilam.
Grahan punya tamananye, comma, bhaganamsh chapi deepitaha ati cherur vakra gatya, comma, yuyudhuscha parasparam. Grahan punyatamananye bhaganamschapi deepitaha aticherur vakragatya yuyudhuscha parasparam.
ग्रहान् पुण्यतमानन्ये भगणांश्चाभिदीपिताः अधिचेरुर्वक्रगत्या गत्या युयुधश्च परस्परम्
Grahan punyatamananye bhaganamschapi deepitaha aticherur vakragatya yudhuscha parasparam.
Drishtwan yamscha mahotpatan. The na, just breaking it in and a, mahotpatan. Next word starts with a. Atha tattva vidaf prajaha brahma putranrite bhitaha. Visarga, because you're putting a comma there. Bhitaha. Menire vishwa samplavam. Drishtvanhyamscha mahotpatan ata tattvavidah prajaha brahmaputra nrite bhitaha menire vishwasamplavam.
दृष्ट्वाम्यांश्च महोत्पातान् अदतत्त्वविदः प्रजाः ब्रह्मपुत्रान् हृदे भीताः मेनिरे विश्वसम्प्लवम्
Drishtvangyam shamahotpatan atatattvavidah prajaha brahmaputra nrute bitaha menire vishvasamplavam.
Rajeshi,
Yeah.
the first line, that second part after the Mahotpadan, Ada Tattva. So the two tas, is it both of them double ta or one single?
It's atat tattva.
Ada Tattva, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah. So,
two double tas then.
Yeah, two double tas.
Okay.
And there's a multiple small it also there. Athat tattva.
Okay. Thank you,
This
Rajesh.
tattva has two it, yeah. Two it's, yeah. So atat tattva. Tavadi daityo sahasa, comma, vyajyamanatma paurushau bavrdhateshma sarena, comma, kayenadri pati iva. Tavadi daityo sahasa vyajyamanatma paurushau bavrdhateshma sarena kayenadri pati iva.
तावादिदैत्यो सहसा व्यज्यमानात्मपौरुषो ववृधादे स्म सारेण कायेनाद्रिपदीव
तावादिदैत्यौ सहसा व्यज्यमानात्मपौरुषौ ववृधातेष्मसारेण कायेनाद्रिपति इव.
Yeah, we'll just switch halfway through, 1/3 through. Nikki, people who I had are not here today. Anyway, Amuchichi, you can be a student, and Sundari, Sundari is here. Okay, Sundari, you can be a student. Divis Prishau Hema Kirita Koti Bihi. Put a visargan comma there. Koti Bihi. Next, that ir on top of that ni will go away. Niruddha Kashtau Spurad Angada Bhujau. If you want to break it, you can say Spurat Angada Bhujau, or you can say Spurad Angada Bhujau together. Gam Kampayantau Charanaif Pade Pade, comma, Katya Sukhanchyarkam. Let's say it again. There's a in and a ich coming in the middle there. Sukhanchyarkam Atitya Tasthatuhu. Easy to break at that ma. And then Atitya Tasthatuhu. Divisprishav Hema Kirita Koti Bihi Niruddha Kashtau Spuradangada Bhujau Gam Kampayantau Charanaif Pade Pade Katya Sukhanchyarkam Atitya Tasthatuhu.
दिविस्पृशौ हेमकिरीटकोटिभिः निरुद्धकाष्ठौ स्फुरदङ्गदा भुजौ गां कम्पयन्तौ चरणैः पदे पदे कट्या सुकाञ्ज्यार्कमधीत्यतस्तदुः
दिवि स्पृशौ हेमकिरीटकोटिभिः निरुद्धकाष्ठौ स्फुरद् अङ्गदाभुजौ गां कम्पयन्तौ चरणैः पदे पदे कट्या सुकाञ्चार्क्यम् अतीत्यतस्ततुः.
And the fourth, Sukanchiyarkam.
सुकाञ्चार्कम् अतीत्यतस्ततुः.
Prajapatir Nama Tayorakarshid, Yah Prak Swadehat Yamayora Jayata Tam Vai Hiranya Kashipum Viduf Prajaha, because we are stopping, put a visargada Prajaha, Yam Tam Hiranyaksham Asuta Sagratah. Prajapatirnama Tayorakarshid Yah Prak Swadehad Yamayora Jayata Tam Vai Hiranyakashipum Viduf Prajaha Yam Tam Hiranyaksham Asuta Sagratah.
प्रजापतिर्नाम तयोरकाशीत् यः प्राक् स्वदेहात् यमयोरजायत तं वै हिरण्यकशिपुं विदुः प्रजाः यं तं हिरण्याक्षमसूदसाग्रतः
प्रजापतिर्नाम तयोरकार्षीद् यः प्राक् स्वदेहात् यमयोरजायत तं वै हिरण्यकशिपुं विदुः प्रजाः यं तं हिरण्याक्षम् असूत साग्रतः.
This is where they're naming them Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. Chakre Hiranyakashipuhu Visargan comma. Next on the Dorbhyam, there is a ir that will go away. Dorbhyam Brahma Varenacha Vashe Sapalal. Again, that double ill and that bindu symbol is coming there. So it's Sapalan and Loka. That in and L will become a double ill there. So Sapalal Lokan Streen. That na first break it, I'll say it again. So that in na you break it into in first. So Sapalal Lokan Streen, comma. Then Akuto Mrityu Ruddhataha. That's one word. Next word starts with a. Akuto Mrityu Ruddhataha. Chakre Hiranyakashipuhu Dorbhyam Brahmavare Nacha Vashe Sapalal Lokan Streen Akuto Mrityu Ruddhataha.
चक्रे हिरण्यकशिपुः दोर्भ्यां ब्रह्मवरेण च वशे सपालान् लोकान् स्त्रीन् अकुतो मृत्युरुद्धतः
चक्रे हिरण्यकशिपुः दोर्भ्यां ब्रह्मवरेण च वशे सपाला लोकां स्त्रीन् अकुतो मृत्युरुद्धतः.
Yeah. Mrityur Uddhataha is also fine, or Mrityur Uddhataha is together. Anyway. Hiranyakshonujas tasya, Priyah Preeti Kridanvaham Gadapanir Divam Yato, Yuyutsur Mrigayan Ranam. Hiranyakshonujas tasya Priyah Preeti Kridanvaham Gadapanir Divam Yato Yuyutsur Mrigayan Ranam.
हिरण्याक्षोऽनुजस्तस्य प्रियः प्रीतिकृदन्वहं गदापाणिर्दिवं यादो युयुत्सुर्मृगयन् रणम्
हिरण्याक्षोऽनुजस्तस्य प्रियः प्रीतिकृदन्वहं गदापाणिर्दिवं यातो युयुत्सुर्मृगयन् रणम्.
The word Preeti is coming to referring to Hiranyaksha, who wants to satisfy his elder brother. That's why he goes and does all these things. Tam Vikshya Dussahajavam, Ranat Kanchana Nupuram Vaijayantya Sraja Jushtam. So that ma is some im there, ma with a dot. Im. We're just going to break it. Jushtam, im, Next word will become amsa. Amsa Nyasta Mahagadam. Tam Vikshya Dussahajavam Pranat Kanchana Nupuram Vaijayantya Sraja Jushtam अंसन्यस्तमहागधम्
तं वीक्ष्य दुःसहजवं रणत्काञ्चननूपुरं वैजयन्त्यास्रजाजुष्टम् अंसन्यस्तमहागतम्
तं वीक्ष्य दुःसहजवं रणत्काञ्चननूपुरं वैजयन्त्या स्रजाजुष्टम् अंसन्यस्तमहागदम्
मनो वीर्य वरोत्सिक्तम्. Again breaking that ma im comma. Next word starts with the a. Asrinyam akuto bhayam. I'm just breaking that ma again. Bhita nililgire devaha. That is goes away. Visargan comma devaha. Tarksha trasta ivahayah. Mano virya varotsiktam asrinyam akuto bhayam bhita nililgire devaha tarksha trasta ivahayah.
मनोवीर्यवरोत्सिक्तम् असृण्यमकुतो भयम् भीदानिलिल्दिरे देवाः ताक्षत्रस्ता इवाहयः
मनोवीर्यवरोत्सिक्तम् असृण्यम् अकुतो भयं भीता निलिलिरे देवाः तार्क्ष्यत्रस्ता इवाहयः.
Tarksha refers to Garuda. So here the reference they're doing is just like how snakes run away from Garuda and they go into hiding. Similarly, the Devas ran away and they went into hiding, afraid of Hiranyaksha. Savai tirohitan drishtva, comma, mahasa svena daityarat, sendran deva ganan shiban, break that na in, comma. Next word, apashyan vyanadat brisham. Sabhaitirohitan drishtva mahasa svena daityaraat sendran devaganan kshiban apashyan vyanadad brisham.
स वै तिरोहितान् दृष्ट्वा महसा स्वेन दैत्यराड् सेन्द्रान् देवगणान् क्षीबान् अपश्यन् व्यनदद्भृशम्
स वै तिरोहितान् दृष्ट्वा महसा स्वेन दैत्यराट् सेन्द्रान् देवगणान् क्षीबान् अपश्यन् व्यनदद्भृशम्.
Tato nivrittah क्रीडिष्यन्, गम्भीरं भीमनिस् स्वनं विजगाहे महासत्वो, वार्धिं मत्त इव द्विपः. ततो निवृत्तः क्रीडिष्यन् गम्भीरं भीमनिस्वनं विजगाहे महासत्वो वार्धिं मत्त इव द्विपः.
ततो निवृत्तः क्रीडिष्यन् गम्भीरं भीमनिस्वनं विजगाहे महासत्वो वार्तिं मत्त इव द्विपः.
ततो निवृत्तः क्रीडिष्यन् गम्भीरं भीमनिस्वनं विजगाहे महासत्वो वार्धिं मत्त इव द्विपः.
तस्मिन् प्रविष्टे वरुणस्य सैनिकाः, add a visarga there because you're putting a comma, सैनिकाः यादो गणास् सन्नधियस् ससाध्वसाः अहन्यमाना अपि तस्य वर्चसा, प्रदर्शिता दूरतरं प्रदुद्रुवुः. तस्मिन् प्रविष्टे वरुणस्य सैनिकाः यादो गणाः सन्नधियः ससाध्वसाः अहन्यमाना अपि तस्य वर्चसा प्रदर्शिता दूरतरं प्रदुद्रुवुः.
तस्मिन् प्रविष्टे वरुणस्य सैनिकाः यादो गणः सन्नधियः ससाध्वसाः आहन्यमाना अपि तस्य वर्चसा प्रदर्शिता दूरतरं प्रदुद्रुवुः.
तस्मिन् प्रविष्टे वरुणस्य सैनिकाः यादो गणाः सन्नधियः ससाध्वसाः अहन्यमाना अपि तस्य वर्चसा प्रदर्शिता दूरतरं प्रदुद्रुवुः.
स वर्ष पूगान् उदधौ महाबलः, that ish goes away, visarga comma महाबलः charan mahormin in sound, mahormin chwasaneritanmuhu, that's one word. So ich and ver chwasaneritanmuhu maurvyabhijagne gadaya Vibhavarim, which is the place of Varuna, Vibhavarim, im, comma. Next word starts with a. Asedivams tata purim prachetasaha. Little harder sentence. Savarshapugan udadhau mahabalaha charan mahormin chvasane ritan muhuhu maurvyabhijagne gadaya vibhavarim asedivams tata purim prachetasaha.
सवर्षपूगानुदधौ महाबलः चरन्महोर्मीश्वसने रितान् मौर्व्याभिजग्ने गदया विभावरीम् आसेदिवांस्तादपुरीं प्रचेतसः
सवर्षपूगान् उदधौ महाबलः चरोन्महोर्मीश्वसेनेरितान् मुहुः
Chvasane muhuhu.
okay. सवर्षपूगान् उदधौ महाबलः चरन्महोर्मीश्वसेनेरितान् मुहुः मौर्व्याभिजग्ने गदया विभावरीम् आसेदिवांस्तातपुरीं प्रचेतसः
तत्रोपलभ्यासुर लोकपालकं यादो गणानां ऋषभं प्रचेतसं स्मयन् प्रलब्धुं प्रणिपत्य नीचवत्. So the ij that you have there will become a it in Sanskrit. नीचवत्, comma. Jagada me dehyadhiraja samyugam. तत्रोपलभ्यासुरलोकपालकं यादो गणानां वृषभं प्रचेतसं स्मयन् प्रलब्धुं प्रणिपत्य नीचवत् जगाद मे देह्यधिराजसंयुगम्.
तत्रोपलभ्यासुरलोकपालकम् यादो गणानां वृषभं प्रचेतसं स्मयन् प्रलब्धुं प्रणिपत्य नीचवत् जगाद मे देह्यधिराजसंयुगम्.
तत्रोपलभ्यासुरलोकपालकं यादो गणानां वृषभं प्रचेतसं स्मयन् प्रलब्धुं प्रणिपत्य नीचवत् जगाद मे देह्यधिराजसंयुगम्.
त्वं लोकपालोऽधिपतिर्बृहच्छ्रवाः. Again, add a visarga there, comma, shavaha. Viryapaho durmada vira maninam vijitya lokhe kila daitya danavan, comma, yadraja suyena purayajat prabhu. Tvam lokapalodhipatirbrihachavaha viryapaho durmada vira maninam vijitya lokhe kila daitya danavan yadrajasuyena purayajat prabho.
त्वं लोकपालोऽधिपतिर्बृहच्छ्रवाः वीर्यापहो दुर्मदवीरमानिनां विजित्य लोकेऽखिलदैत्यदानवान् यद्राजसूयेन पुरायजत्प्रभो.
त्वं लोकपालोऽधिपतिर्बृहच्छ्रवाः वीर्यापहो दुर्मदवीरमानिनां विजित्य लोकेऽखिलदैत्यदानवान् यद्राजसूयेन पुरायजत्प्रभो.
स एवम् उत्सिक्त मदेन विद्विषा, दृढं प्रलब्धो भगवानपां पतिः रोषं समुत्थं शमयन् स्वया दिया, put a plus, vyavochadangopashamam, one long word, vyavochadangopashamam gatha vayam. So the last line is continuous. Sa evam utsiktamadena vidvisha dridham pralabdho bhagavan apam rosham samutham shamayan swaya diya vyavochadangopashamam gata vayam.
स एवमुत्सिक्तमदेन विद्विषा दृढं प्रलब्धो भगवानपां पतिः रोषं समुत्थं शमयन् स्वया दिया व्यवोचदङ्गोपशमं गता वयम्.
स एवम् उत्सिक्तमदेन विद्विषा दृढं प्रलब्धो भगवानपां पतिः रोषं समुत्थं शमयन् स्वया धिया पृच्छद् अङ्गोपशमं गता वयम्
पश्यामि नान्यं पुरुषात् पुरातनाद् कम यस् संयुगे त्वां रणमार्गकोविदम्. So the next word, pretty much the whole word is one long one, so you cannot break it. Aradayishyatya surarshabhehitam. Okay, until behi, it's one word, so you cannot break it. You just have to say it together. Aradayishyatya surarshabhehitam, comma, manasvino yam grinate bhavadrishaha. पश्यामि नान्यं पुरुषात् पुरातनाद् यः संयुगे त्वां रणमार्गकोविदम् आराधयिष्यत्यसुरर्षभेहितं मनस्विनो यं गृणते भवादृशाः.
पश्यामि नान्यं पुरुषात् पुरातनाद् यः संयुगे त्वां रणमार्गकोविदम् आराधयिष्यत्यसुरर्षभेहितं मनस्विनोऽयं गृणते भवादृशाः.
पश्यामि नान्यं पुरुषात् पुरातनाद् यः संयुगे त्वां रणमार्गकोविदम् आराधयिष्यत्यसुरर्षभेहितं मनस्विनोऽयं गृणते भवादृशाः.
तं वीरम् आराधभिपद्य. If you want to break it, it's वीरम् आराध अभिपद्य. 3 different words there. वीरम् आराधभिपद्य विस्मयः, comma, शशिष्यसे वीरशये श्वभिर्भृतः. So the next one, my book had a mistake. I don't know, the newer versions may not have it. It should be yes tvad. Okay, mine had it before the is, which is a mistake. So it should be is before the it. Yes tvad vidhanama satam prashantaye, comma, rupani dhatte sadanugrahechaya. Tam वीरमाराधभिपद्य विस्मयः शशिष्यसे वीरशयेष्वभिर्वृतः यस्त्वद्विधानाम सतां प्रशान्तये रूपाणि धत्ते सदनुग्रहेच्छया.
तं वीरमारादभिपद्य विस्मयः शयिष्यसे वीरशयेष्वभिर्वृतः यस्त्वद्विधानामसतां प्रशान्तये रूपाणि धत्ते सदनुग्रहेच्छया.
तं वीरमारादभिपद्य विस्मयः शयिष्यसे वीरशयेष्वभिर्वृतः यस्त्वद्विधानाम् असतां प्रशान्तये रूपाणि धत्ते सदनुग्रहेच्छया.
इति श्रीमद्भागवते महापुराणे पारमहंस्यां संहितायां तृतीयस्कन्धे हिरण्याक्ष दिग्विजये 17ोऽध्यायः.
इति श्रीमद्भागवते महापुराणे पारमहंस्यां संहितायां तृतीयस्कन्धे हिरण्याक्षदिग्विजये 17ोऽध्यायः.
इति श्रीमद्भागवते महापुराणे पारमहंस्यां संहितायां तृतीयस्कन्धे हिरण्याक्षदिग्विजये 17ोऽध्यायः.
Digvijay is just victory in all directions. So she is going and capturing everything, right? Okay. So
ராஜேஷ், ஒரே ஒரு கொஸ்டின் ராஜேஷ். அந்த லாஸ்ட் இதுல ஷயீஷ்யசேன்னு தமிழ்ல இருக்கு, நீங்க ஷஷீஷ்யசே சொன்னது.
Oh, Shayishyase only.
ஷயீஷா?
Yeah, Shayishyase. I must have said it wrong. Okay, so we'll start 18. I'll just take about few minutes to just maybe the first 12-13 stanzas. I'll explain up to a particular point, and then we'll continue with this chapter today. Okay, so we saw in the last one, where Hiranyaksha is now, Varuna is telling, right? He goes to Vibhavari, and Varuna says that you have to go find Narayana, right? So like we said in the previous class, that whether you are a devotee or you are somebody who hates the Lord, the process is still the same. Because you devotee goes seeking the Lord. The person who hates the Lord also goes seeking the Lord to hate or to get rid of the Lord in this case. And if you are a devotee, then you get a guru who guides you towards Bhagavan. Even for a person who hates the Lord, he needs to have a devotee who has to guide him towards Bhagavan too. So this Hiranyaksha, when he's roaming around, he's not able to find where Narayana is. So at that time, he comes across Narada, because Narada is there to guide him towards where Bhagavan is. So Narada says, "Oh, Hiranyaksha, you have been looking around to fight with a good companion. I know you're looking for this Narayana, and you have already captured most of the worlds, right? So the Swargalokam and all is under your control. Varuna, anyway, doesn't want to fight with you." He says this is in the Bhuloka, there is one more planet which is going to be there, which this Bhagavan is now rescuing it right now. So he's essentially taking what is yours, right? Because Hiranyaksha has control over all the 14 worlds, right? So he's taking what is yours. So I will tell you where he is right now. So he then points Hiranyaksha towards where Varaha is now coming and rescuing Earth. So that's where Hiranyaksha is coming there, and then he is coming and meeting. So like I think Sindhuji or somebody had asked, so Hiranyaksha doesn't do anything to the Earth. The Earth itself was just coming out now to be established. So in that process, when Hiranyaksha is coming, he says, I own all the 14 worlds, which means whatever you are having is also mine, right? So that's why he goes and fights. So anyway, so he comes, and then when he, sorry, one second, some driver. So when he comes, then he sees the Varaha Avataram, right? That's what Bhagavan is taking the Varaha Avataram. So Hiranyaksha is so blessed because he's witnessing the Varaha Avataram actually happening at that time, right? And like in Narayanam, it says, he says, Aho Aranyoyam Mrigayiti, Hasantam Bahutarehi. So he laughs, saying, Narada told me it's going to be some, Bhagavan, and then Varuna told he's going to be a great person for me to fight with. So here in Bhagavatam, it says Vana Gochara. It says Vana Gochara is some forest beast which is there in the forest. So he says, this seems like an animal, right? So he then goes and of course, he starts saying all kinds of things, saying that, you are like an animal. Why will I fight with you? It's like very demeaning to me to fight with somebody who is not strong, right? I've been told you are big and all that, and I'm not going to fight with animals. And then he also tells, that what you are now rescuing this earth belongs to me because I have all the control over the other planets. You have to hand it over. It cannot be yours. So just like how we do stuti of Archana, where we go say praising the Bhagavan, he is also doing, but he's just cursing. And one of the meaning of Vana Gochara, while you can say it as it's a forest beast, it also in Sanskrit, because different words have multiple meanings, it also means one who's reclining on water. So essentially, he's still praising Narayana only by saying Vana Gochara, and whatever he's saying towards Bhagavan, right? So it counts. So anyway, so he says, that you have to hand it over and all that. And he says that, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to break you apart and all that stuff. He throws all these words there. So Bhagavan doesn't get any upset or angry about it because he knows what this person is, what is actually happening. So the first thing is, the earth has to be rescued and put in place, right? It has to be put in the right orbit for civilization to happen, because civilization is all going to happen only much later in earth. So the first thing that Varaha does, the primary purpose of the Varaha Avataram is to establish earth in the right orbit. So it says, not only because of the physical nature, because of gravity and everything, it is also because of your Shakti, your Bhagavan, you are putting earth in the right orbit. That's what Bhagavatam also says. You're placing it in the right spot so that civilization can happen there, and it's also able to orbit, right? So all of that anyway. So Bhagavan first puts with the Vishnu Shakti, because of your energy, you're going and first establishing earth in the right spot. And then now you go and have a conversation with Varaha, where Bhagavan says that, look, a person like me who is liberated, who is further advanced, we are not going to get offended by anything you say. You can say whatever you want. That's not going to offend me. And because you are like you are unliberated, you keep thinking all these words are important and you keep saying about it. And, so he says, I've taken away, he essentially says that, the Rasathala, the demons, where Hiranyaksha wants to take ownership of earth, he says that's not where it's going to be happening. I've put it in the right place and I'll fight with you. That's kind of halfway through the chapter where the conversation is happening of Bhagavanu Vacha, where he's telling. And then Maitreya is continuing the conversation a little later. So where the battle is going to happen between Hiranyaksha and Varaha. So we'll stop there. Yeah.
And Narayan, it says it came out from the Nasa Buddha Samabhava Shishgola Rubi. So it is coming from Brahma's nostril. So here also it is saying the same thing?
Yeah, but that came long time back.
Okay.
That came,
Okay.
tell you, I'll forget which chapter it was. But when Varaha,
Matsya time.
First when the Varaha Avataram started, at that time, Maitreya said to Brahma, that at that time it came out. So he first talks about the Varaha Avataram happening. And then is when Vidura is asking the question about Hiranyaksha. So like we said, that things got a little bit switched, right? So the Varaha incarnation.
He already came out.
Yeah, that we covered. I'll tell you which chapter that was in. So the Varaha Avatara, I was in 3.13.
Oh, okay.
The Varaha Avataram happened there. That's where even Bhagavatam said it came out of the nose. We discussed that. It said it came out of the nose, and Marichi and all of them, start wondering who is this big person, who's the person coming out of it. He also talks about being the size of the thumb and everything. So that is pretty consistent. So that happened in 3.13, which was at the beginning of the Varaha Avataram. Yeah.
So the main purpose of Varahadaram is to establish earth, right?
And getting rid of Hiranyaksha.
Both. Okay.
Yeah, both.
Okay. Thank you, Rajesh.
All right. So
Rajeshri, one question. Sorry, Rajeshri. Dasavadaram, we always start with Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, right? So Matsya is the first one. But for the earth to start its civilization, Varaha is the starting point. But how do you kind of consider which is the starting point for the Dasavadaram? Because it's a circular.
But in the third chapter of the first skandam, it gave a sequence. On the sequence, you have to go back to that. It first said that the Purusha is the first avataram. And then from that, Purusha is the first avataram. Then the Purusha who comes into the Hiranyandam as Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, that is the second avataram. Right? So it kind of talks about that. So from that sequence, Varaha Avataram comes way before Matsya Avataram. Matsya Avataram only happens between the transition between Chakshusha Manu and Vaivasvata Manu, between the 6th and the 7th Manu, which happens much later. So the Varaha Avataram definitely is happening. But literally, this is on the 1.3 la paathelnaka, and the sequence is exactly given in that.
Adodalla, adu vandu 24 avataram. It's not just 10.
Yeah.
Adida I wanted to tell.
Avataram. Yeah. It said, right? Avatara hya sankheyaha. It comes in that. Yeah. It's by the he asankheyaha. It's an unlimited number of avatarams, right? Because we are going to see, Rishabha Yogishwara Avataram coming. We're going to see Kapila Avataram come. All of that are coming. But of course, when we say Dashavataram, they're picking like the top 10 or maybe the one which has got the most potency or whatever, right? However you want to describe it. But anyway.
And the chapter 24 nu solradhu. But there are more.
There are more. Yeah.
Rajesh, sorry, one more question. So in Kali Yuga, there is no avatar, and that's what it says, right?
It doesn't describe a specific name of an avataram in Kali Yuga except at the very end.
But there could be Amshavadaram happening in Kali Yuga.
There could be something happening, which, so it's like, it's one of those things where it is not described anywhere, right? It still says that you are going to be born in Kali Yuga. After Krishna Avataram, it really goes down to the, final Kalki Avataram, which is going to happen, right? But it doesn't talk about anything in between.
Okay.
Yeah, but like we said, there could be so many other things which could, avatarams or partial things which could be happening for sure. It's just not in that list of things.
But sometimes when somebody is trying to explain Dasavataram, right, they say it starts with the fish because fish can live only in water.
No.
I'm just telling you that explanation. The explanation is wrong, right?
That's the explanation is 100% wrong. Because
okay. I just wanted
because like we saw when Brahma starts the creation, he is creating first, immovable things, and then he creates various things. All these beings are coming out, right? Earth is getting settled, right? So the civilization has still not even happened on Earth, but there are beings in other worlds who are already created. You're seeing Hiranyaksha, you're seeing Hiranyakashipu, you're seeing Kashyapa, you're seeing Diti. All these beings are already there, right? So, Annala, you should definitely not follow on the sequence, in relation to the avatarams I'm seeing, right? The evolution could have probably followed that sequence, but not the avatarams don't follow that sequence. Okay, so just
thank you.
No problem. Okay, 10 minutes. So let's quickly, whoever wants to volunteer. I think the people I had on the list today. Okay. Sindhuji, you can. Who else wants to? Okay, Priya.
I can do. Oh, okay, sit. Priya.
Priya, yeah. Okay, so अथ 18 मैत्रेयो उवाच तदेवम् आकर्ण्य जलेश भाषितं महामनास्तद् विगणय्य दुर्मदः हरेर्विदित्वा गतिमङ्ग नारदात् रसातलं निर्विविशे त्वरान्वितः मैत्रेय उवाच तदेवमाकर्ण्य जलेश भाषितं महामनास्तद्विगणय्य दुर्मदः हरेर्विदित्वा गतिमङ्गनारदात् रसातलं निर्विविशे त्वरान्वितः
मैत्रेय उवाच तदेवमाकर्ण्य जलेशभाषितं महामनास्तद्विगणय्य दुर्मदः हरेर्विदित्वा गतिमङ्गनारदात् रसातलं निर्विविशे त्वरान्वितः
मैत्रेयोवाच तदेवमाकर्ण्य जलेशभाषितं महामनास्तद्विगणय्य दुर्मतः हरेर्विदित्वा गतिमङ्गनारदात् रसातलं निर्विविशेत्वरान्वितः
ददर्श तत्राभिजितं धराधरं प्रोन्नीयमानावनिं one word प्रोन्नीयमानावनिम् अग्रदंष्ट्रया मुष्णन्तम् अक्ष्णा स्वरुचोरुणश्रिया जहास चाहो वन गोचरो मृगः ददर्श तत्राभिजितं धराधरं प्रोन्नीयमानावनिमग्रदंष्ट्रया मुष्णन्तमक्ष्णा स्वरुचोरुणश्रिया जहास चाहो वनगोचरो मृगः
ददर्श तत्राभिजितं धराधरं प्रोनीयमानावनिमग्रदंष्ट्रया मुष्णन्दमश्ना सुरुजोरुणश्रिया जहास चाहो वनगोचरो मृगः
ददर्श तत्राभिजितं धराधरं प्रोनीयमानावनिम् अग्रदंष्ट्रय मुष्णन्तमश्ना स्वरुचोरुणश्रिया जहास चाहो वनगोचरो मृगः
आहैनम् एह्यज्ञ in break it will be easier आहैनम् एह्यज्ञ महीं विमुञ्चनो रसौकसां विश्व सृजेयमर्पिता न स्वस्ति यास्य स्यनया ममेक्षतः सुराधमासादित one word सूकराकृते आहैनमेह्यज्ञमहीं विमुञ्चनो रसौकसां विश्वसृजेयमर्पिता न स्वस्ति यास्यस्य ममेक्षतः सुराधमासादितसूकराकृते
आहैनमे एह्यज्ञ महीं विमुञ्जनो रसौकसां विश्वसृजेयमर्पिता न स्वस्ति यास्यस्य नयाममेक्षतः सुराधमासादितसूकराकृते
आहैनमेह्यज्ञमहीं विमुञ्चनो रसौकसां विश्वसृजेयमर्पिता न स्वस्ति यास्यस्य न याममेक्षतः सुराधमासादितसूकराकृते
त्वं न सपत्नैरभवाय किं भृतो यो मायया हन्त्यसुरान् परोक्षजित् त्वां योग माया बलमल्प पौरुषं संस्थाप्य मूढ़ प्रमृजे सुहृच्छुचः त्वं न सपत्नैरभवाय किं भृतो यो मायया हन्त्यसुरान् परोक्षजित् त्वां योग माया बलमल्प पौरुषं संस्थाप्य मूढ़ प्रमृजे सुहृच्छुचः
त्वं न सपत्नैरभवाय किं भृतो यो मायया हन्त्यसुरान् परोक्षजित् त्वां योगमाया बलमल्पपौरुषं संस्थाप्य मूढप्रमृजे सुहृच्छुजः
त्वं नः सपत्नैरभवाय किं वृतो यो मायया हन्त्यसुरान् परोक्षिजित् त्वां योगमाया बलमल्पपौरुषं संस्थाप्य मूढप्रमृजे सुहृ எப்படி சொல்லணும் அது?
सुहृच्छुचः
सुहृच्छुचः
त्वयि संस्थिते गदया शीर्षणि. I'm just breaking that in and a ya that is there. So that becomes a shirshani ni, comma. So shirshani, comma. Next word starts with the a. Asmat bhuja chutaya ye chatubhyam balim harantya rishayo ye cha devaha, comma. Swayam sarvena bhavishyantia mulaha. त्वयि संस्थिते गदया शीर्षणि अस्मद्भुजच्युतया ये च तुभ्यं बलिं हरन्त्य ऋषयो ये च देवाः स्वयं सर्वेण भविष्यन्त्यमूलाः.
त्वयि संस्थिते गदया शीर्षणि अस्मद्भुजच्युतया ये च तुभ्यं बलिं हरन्त्य ऋषयो ये च देवाः स्वयं सर्वेण भविष्यन्त्यमूलाः.
त्वयि संस्थिते गतया शीर्षणि अस्मद्भुजच्युता ये च तुभ्यं बलिं हरन्त्य ऋषयो ये च देवाः स्वयं सर्वेण भविष्यन्त्यमूलाः.
The first line, Priya, after the comma, अस्मद्भुजच्युतया.
अस्मद्भुजच्युतया. अस्मद्भुजच्युतया. Okay.
Yeah. CHYU. Chu. Okay, I'm the sound.
Chu. Okay.
Sir, tudhyamanori durukta tomaraihi. Visarga, comma, tomaraihi. Next, the ir goes away. Damshtragragam gam upalabhya bhitam todam mrishan niragat ambhu madhyat. I'm just breaking that at one point. Mrishan niragat ambhu madhyat, comma, graha hatassa karenur yatebaha. So some of these things, it doesn't land exactly because the chandas keeps changing and there's the length, meter keeps changing. Satudhyamanori dhurukta tomaraihi damshtragragam gam upalakshya bhitam todam vrishan niragat ambu madhyat graha hatassa karenur yatebaha.
सदुद्यमानोरिदुरुक्ततोमरैः दंष्ट्राग्रगां गामुपलक्ष्य भीदां तोदं वृषन्निरगादम्बुमध्याद् ग्राहाहदः सकरेणुर्यथेभः.
तदुद्यमानोरिदुरुक्ततोमरैः दंष्ट्राग्रगां काम उपलक्ष्य भीतां तोदं वृषन् निरगाद् अम्बुमध्यात् ग्राहाहतः सकरेणुर्यथेभः.
Yeah, correct. You want to say that last line again? You caught it, but
yeah. Grahatassa karenur-yatebhaha.
okay, we'll stop here today. Shri Hare Namaha, Shri Hare Namaha, Shri Hare Namaha. Gopika Jeevana Smaranam Govinda Govinda. Sadgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai. Kahena vacha manasendriyerva buddhyatmana va prakrute swabhavat. Karomi yatyat sakalam parasmai narayanaayeti samarpayami.
Thank
Thank
you,
you, everyone.
Rajesh.
Thank you, Rajesh.
Thank you so much, Rajesh. Thank you.
Bye,
Thank you,
everyone.
Rajesh.
Thank you,
Bye.
Rajesh.